Here's a number that should make every taxpayer's jaw hit the floor: $1.35 billion. That's how much the federal government paid in Canada child benefit payments to temporary residents between 2020 and 2023. You know, every time politicians tell us not to worry about record immigration levels because newcomers pay taxes too, they leave out one huge part of the story, the part where taxpayers are footing an increasingly massive welfare bill. New records obtained by Rebel News from the Canada Revenue Agency show that in 2023 alone, temporary residents received more than $369 million through the Canada Child Benefit Program. Guys, that's not a typo. Temporary residents received more child benefit money than refugees, who received about $346 million. And nearly $19 million went to people listed by the CRA as having no status whatsoever, as in here illegally. Now, before anybody gets upset, and to be clear, I think you should, let's be clear about something else. Collecting the Canada Child Benefit payment isn't fraud. It's perfectly legal. That's the problem. The system allows this. The issue is that governments have dramatically expanded the number of people eligible to receive these benefits while simultaneously importing record numbers of temporary residents, and the costs are growing. In 2020, temporary residents received roughly $314 million in child benefits. That climbed to $356 million in 2021, dipped slightly to $311 million in 2022, and then surged back up to more than $369 million in 2023. Over 4 years, and just that 4-year time frame, because it's 2026 now, temporary residents collected about $1.35 billion in federal child benefit payments. And that's just the federal portion. Think about what has happened during that same period. The Trudeau Liberals and now the Carney Liberals oversaw an unprecedented explosion in temporary foreign workers, international students, and other non-permanent residents. Then housing costs exploded, schools became overcrowded, healthcare wait times lengthened, and youth unemployment climbed. And yet taxpayers were also being asked to fund hundreds of millions of dollars in child benefits for people who are, by definition, supposed to be temporary. And even more remarkable is the category called no status. As I just said, CRA records show nearly $19 million in child benefits were paid to people in that category in 2023, followed by more than $22 million in 2020, $20.8 million in 2021, and $19.2 million in 2022. Now, the CRA notes that these individuals may qualify through a spouse whose status makes them eligible, may or maybe not. What we know for sure is that people who are in our country illegally without status are also getting childcare benefits. If temporary residents are temporary, why are taxpayers spending hundreds of millions of dollars every year supporting them through programs originally sold to Canadians as support for Canadian families? Nobody voted for a system where temporary migration becomes permanent access to taxpayer-funded benefits. Nobody voted for a system where the federal government imports labor to suppress wages while asking taxpayers to subsidize the cost of raising those workers' children. And nobody voted for a system where the number of temporary residents grows so large that they receive more child benefit money than legitimate refugees. The government constantly talks about the economic benefits of mass migration. Fine. Then let's have an honest conversation about the costs too, because it's Canadians who are paying them. For Rebel News, I'm Sheila Gunn Reid. These records were made available to us and researched by us thanks to your donations at a special investigations website, rebelinvestigates.com. Thanks to everyone who makes this important work possible.